get asked a lot of questions at our open days as to what it's like to study at Teesside University International Business School. My name's Femi Waters-Ajisafe and I'm a principal lecturer here in the business school, and I'm delighted to say that we'll be helping answer some of those questions today. To help me do so, I'm joined by my esteemed colleague, Dr. Noel Dennis, who is the Associate Dean here in the business school. Welcome, Noel, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you very much for having me, Femi. I'm delighted to be here.
Excellent. Shall we get stuck in and go straight into the questions,
Indeed.
Noel? So one of the questions that we typically get asked is, what is unique about studying business management here in the business school?
Okay, so that's a really good and very big question, but we're really proud of our provision here in business management in the business school. We've developed a curricula in conjunction with industry. So all of our modules and content has been reviewed by industry so that it has that balance of learning about a particular aspect of business, be that finance, be that HR, be that business strategy, but having that application of that knowledge to a real business challenge, or indeed having guest input from business to come in and make sense of some of that theory. So I think that's a really distinctive feature of our course, and I think that's really important, because what we're trying to do here is give our students the best opportunity whilst they're on course with us, but also preparing them for that dream job at the end. Now, that dream job could be working in an organisation, a graduate route, or what we're seeing increasingly now is people coming in with business ideas, entrepreneurial mindsets, so we can actually nurture their ideas whilst they're on course and then help them shape that into a real business via our support with our central sort of business development network in Launchpad that we have here, sort of our incubation. So there's different routes that you can take. The other thing that I think is distinctive about our courses is that we take into account the grand challenges in the world. So it's no longer just enough for somebody to learn business and learn how to lead an organisation. They have to be able to be mindful of how they can solve some of the society challenges that we face. A lot of societal challenges out there now. So we're really passionate about embedding the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals into our provision. And we're a proud signatory of the United Nations Principles for Responsible Management Education. So sustainability, business making a positive role in society, talking about entrepreneurial solutions to some of the challenges that the Sustainable Development Goals provide, you know, things like climate action, ending poverty, life underwater, responsible production and consumption courses, getting people to think about how they consume products and what that means to the environment. So I think that's a really important aspect of the course. Also, I think the placement offer that we have, the field trips that we can offer, our industry connections as an industry connected business school, we really draw on that to really add value to the learner experience whilst they're with us. And I think that's what makes us stand out in terms of our offer there. I will add, actually, for any of the potential applicants listening to this, if you're unsure what you want to do in business terms, a business management course is a really good course to do, because it gives you a taste of everything. A flavour of everything. It's like a Michelin-starred tasting menu. You taste a bit of everything. You know?
I think what I'm hearing you say there's kind of a common thread, that the business management degree has a real world relevance.
Absolutely.
And I think one of the key benefits for our students then would be that kind of opportunity, if you like, to kind of gain insights into sectors and to practice work whilst still studying, so that when they do graduate, they'll be in a better position to understand where their strengths are, what they enjoy, and what kind of career they want to to go into.
Because of course a business management degree can lead to many different career paths.
For sure.
We talked earlier, didn't we, about, you know, the graduate route, but it can work in any sort of organisation, any sort of sector. So it could be in an engineering sector, it could be in a technology sector, it could be in a third sector, you know, charity work, it could be in an SME, it could be in a large global corporation. A business management degree gives you that grounding in all aspects of business. And of course, what we do tend to find is people who do a business management degree, you always find your favourite thing on the menu.
Yeah.
And we see a lot of students who'll say, right, okay, I love the marketing aspect, so I'm going to stay and do my postgraduate degree in marketing and get that extra specialism under the belt.
Right. So there's a number of different opportunities that they
Absolutely.
can explore, and a number of different avenues that they can take with the business management.
absolutely.
Super. Excellent. What practical experience could a student expect to get if they was to study on one of our marketing courses?
Right, lovely question. So, like you, Femi, I'm a marketeer. I studied marketing, and I studied marketing like you did here at Teesside University.
Many moons ago.
A long time ago, but I had the best experience. So I often talk very fondly of that when people come to an open day to talk about marketing, and I can genuinely say I'm a product of marketing here at Teesside. So we're proud of our marketing provision, proud of all of our courses, but marketing is a real sort of area of strength in terms of the experience-based learning. So we have a wonderful team of colleagues, of which you are one, and you do incredible work leading our marketing clinic. And I think that's a really wonderful way of our students to put into action the knowledge they're learning about marketing, which we know is such a diverse discipline, isn't it?
Absolutely.
But then they're put in a situation where they're working with clients, live clients. So again, they're practicing their skills in a safe environment. But what I love about the marketing clinic is the variety of clients that you work with. I mean, it's tremendous. You have, one year, wasn't it, an olive oil manufacturer?
Yeah. In Italy.
Which was absolutely tremendous. Then you had a chief executive of a national charity, Project Wingman, so Captain Emma Henderson, ex-EasyJet A320 captain. You did some work for that, or the students did. And then you've got a flight Boeing 737 flight simulator. So what I'm trying to say here is that our students work on a variety of different projects, don't they? Marketing is such a broad church, isn't it? And marketing is everything. We cannot escape the market. So I think what I love about it is you give those opportunities on the course, but also it shows to our learners that marketing, you're going to be faced with lots of different industries and sectors where you have to apply marketing principles to, and I think that is wonderful. We obviously, the marketing students engage with Launchpad as well, don't they? Which is, again, we've talked about, it's our university sort of, it's a business development hub, isn't it? It's an incubation unit, if you like. And I know we've got quite a few students who successfully left our marketing course and gone and developed their own businesses, supported by colleagues in Launchpad. And I think the Greg's Marketing Challenge that you do annually is incredible. That's a brief. Do you want to tell me a little bit about that, actually?
Yeah, for sure. So every year, our students, second year and final year students, work collaboratively on a brief that's been set by Greg's. At the end of the year, a group from Teesside represents us as a university, and we will pitch our ideas to the Greg's senior team, along with student groups from Northumbria University, Newcastle University and Sunderland University. Some fantastic ideas have came out of these projects. The ideas that the students come up with, not just product ideas, but the whole campaign, marketing campaigns, cross-channel marketing campaigns, really are so creative. And we've seen some of that creative work, being showcased in some of their flagship stores in Primark up and down the country. So, yeah, our students really do shine in that space and have really left a mark, I suppose, on the portfolio that Greg's has today.
Absolutely, and that's amazing. That demonstrates the impact of the work and the level that our students are working at. I mean, it's fair to say that they did win in 2022, didn't they?
They certainly did.
And their work, as you say, has been piloted across the country. So I think that is brilliant. And again, it's testament to the team, the academic team, who really have a strong vested interest in that solutions-based learning.
You mentioned Launchpad earlier, and that some of our marketing students have gone on to set up their own business after they've graduated, but I know that we're doing some work with Launchpad in terms of starting students up as freelancers so that they can actually start to get paid for their work whilst they're a student, and hopefully that puts them in good stead for, continuing either to work self-employed or setting up their own agency after they've graduated. Can you tell me a little bit more about that, Noel?
Yeah, well, I think we like to provide opportunities for our students to, again, if they've got that business idea, to develop it from while they're on course, and then once they're sort of through the course, they can actually, walk into something with a business plan prepared, and they've been coached and they've been mentored, and they can actually get the support and the space and the mentoring in Launchpad to develop that business and take it further. And I think, beyond that, we like to provide employment opportunities for our students anyway, don't we? Certainly in the marketing space, we employ student ambassadors who help us on open days. We're moving more now towards digital student ambassadors who are going to help us create content for our social media channels, both school and wider university. So we like to help nurture our own talent as well and provide opportunities, again, which is so important. It's such an added value to the course. And again, that goes beyond market, and that goes across all of our provision, that you have those opportunities to be involved in that sort of work outside the course.
So moving on then, Noel, another question that we always seem to be getting asked at open days is what can students expect to be doing on a day-to-day when studying accounting and finance with us?
Okay, that's a really good question, because there's a common conception, isn't it, that accounting is just about numbers and just about profit and loss accounts, balance sheets, T counts, bookkeeping. That's part of our course, of course, but there are other strands to accounting and finance, so it's quite a broad discipline. Here at Teesside University International Business School, our team focus on things like auditing, taxation, but they're also moving to sort of responsible investment, green accounting. What does a sustainability and accounting mean? So there's a big sort of shift there, again, of looking at the world's grand challenges, the societal piece, and how accounting fits within that. Also, I think it's fair to say that the team are really passionate about technology and accounting. So, you've got lots of that. You've got cryptocurrency, you've got fintech.
Blockchain.
Yeah, blockchain, all of these things. And we have expertise within the team who sort of facilitate those discussions. It's quite fascinating, really. And it was lovely to see, because recently we had an accounting and finance conference, which was wonderful. It was aimed at our students, but we also brought in students from local schools and colleges. And they had a really insightful day into things like sustainable and green accounting. And there were a lot of industry practitioners in the room on that day explaining different career paths that you can do in accounting. I mentioned two of them there: auditing. I was there for that one, that's fascinating. And taxation, and investment, and setting up your own practice, or working for a practice, or working within a large organisation as a financial accountant. There are so many strands to accounting and finance. It's quite fascinating. So if you're interested in that, I mean, anyone who's listening to this or watching this and interested, do get in touch, because our team have got such a wide and varied level of expertise that they could sit down with you and talk to you about accounting, and you would be mind blown about how big a discipline it is.
I think I was actually, when I was reviewing some of the footage from that conference, I was absolutely stunned as to how many different, career opportunities or paths you can actually pursue. Dare I admit it, I was one of those people that thought that to study accounting and finance was to pursue a career as a bookkeeper or as an accountant, and that's clearly not necessarily the case.
No, absolutely not. There are so many different paths that an accounting and finance course can lead to. And of course, it's fair to say as well, as you would expect, our course is accredited by the leading professional bodies as well. So that leads to, if you successfully complete our course, it leads to sort of exemptions from some of the qualifications of the top professional bodies.
Excellent. Okay, here we go. If students study aviation and tourism, all right, could they expect to go on some glamorous trips?
They certainly can. So, as you would expect, aviation tourism is a discipline that affords that, doesn't it? So, if I just sort of focus in on aviation, being a secret aviation fan.
You are actually a little bit of a...
I used to want to be an airline pilot. I started flying when I was 14 and built up 35 hours, but then I just didn't happen in terms of my career. But I still love it, and I love the aviation provision that we've got here in the school, and we do get to go out on some wonderful field trips. So we go quite a lot to Newcastle Airport. I've been on that trip a few times with the students, where we spend a day airside, and we watch the operations of an airport, from checking people in, to going airside, to watching how an aeroplane is turned around and what happens with that. It's fascinating. One year we even got in the control tower, which was amazing. So that again is part of really providing an immersive learning experience for our learners, because you can't get that level of knowledge from just a textbook. And our aviation team, all of them have worked in aviation as professionals, so they bring with them a myriad of aviation contacts. So our students are very fortunate that they get to go on trips like that. Got a big, strong connection, as you would expect, with Teesside International Airport, so we're regularly there with the students, and we're also in the process, and it will be ready soon, of setting up an aviation academy, which will be a number of stakeholders at the airport who will be involved in shaping the learning experience for our students. But the plan is that we will have a physical space at the airport for our learners to go and have the airport as their classroom. And they can go and experience all different operations of running an airport, working in an aerospace industry, because it's not just about the airport. At the airport there are other companies there that we engage with, and our students will get insights into that. And in terms of tourism, of course, so we have a lot of field trips. I think, recently students went to Edinburgh, they've been to London. They've looked at key sort of milestones and key sort of areas of interest related to tourism. We've got a group of aviation and tourism students actually in the very near future are going to Amsterdam.
Excellent.
So yeah,
Very
we do,
good.
in short, we do encourage field trips. And again, that's not just for aviation and tourism, that's across all of our courses.
Yeah.
We want all of our students to be able to get out into the field. We want all of our students to be able to have some kind of international experience, be that a physical exchange abroad, or virtual interactions with our partner institutions across the globe. You can name check Singapore, we've got Sri Lanka, Czech Republic, Oslo, to name just a few.
Excellent. Could you tell us a little bit more about HR and what HR professionals do?
Yeah.
Students tend to be a little bit unsure about, what that sector actually involves and what a typical HR role would look like.
Yeah. Okay, so HR, again, it's one of those disciplines that has lots of different specialisms within it, I guess. But it is a really important function, isn't it? Because HR is about managing people, and people are the most important asset of any organisation, aren't they? So I think HR, it involves obviously the recruitment of people into organisations. It involves managing talent, okay? Because obviously once you recruit someone, you want to develop them to be the best person they can be, so that they positively contribute to the organisation, but you also want to retain them. So I think talent management's a big part of it. Managing employee benefits, evaluation of performance forms within there, doesn't it? That's an important area. Really getting involved in managing change and restructural problems, issues within an organisation. I mean, HR function plays a big part there. And ensuring compliance with employment law and regulations. So it's a broad church. And within our HR course here, you get, a bit like the business management degree, a flavour of all those strands of what it is to work in HR. And if you choose to, you can go and specialise further by doing your Masters in HR and management, because it is a really, really involved discipline.
No, we've spoke now about some key courses, business management, marketing, HR, accounting and finance, but there are a couple of questions that we tend to get asked at open days that aren't necessarily course specific, but much more about the student experience. And one of those is, as you would expect, assessments. Students are really, or prospective students are really concerned about how they're going to be assessed? Because I think, like, you know, most people tend to have, you know, a preference, if you like, for a certain type of assessment. So what type of assessments could a student expect to have across our range of courses?
That's a good question. So in the economics and the accounting courses, you can expect to see exams in there, and that's because that's a requirement of the professional bodies. So that's where the exams reside. But across the other courses, you've got a variety of assessments. You've got group teamwork presentations, you've got reports, you've got case study work, you know, and when I talk about presentations, not necessarily just group presentations as well. We actually, because we're an Adobe certified campus, we actually have access to their kit where you can do individual digital presentations, you know, really creative sorts of things in that sort of space. So it's really sort of mixed and varied, and where we can, we like to make sure that their assessments are applied, so they're applied to a business challenge or a live case study. So again, it's putting that knowledge into action, and that then leads to, when you go for interview, for example, when you graduate, you can demonstrate where you've actually applied the theory and that you've actually got some practical skills under your belt already. So our assessments are designed for that sort of purpose.
And would you also find exams in kind of your business management, marketing, HRM?
No, not really. Maybe HRM again because of the PSRB, professional body status there, but largely exams have been taken out to allow for more hands-on, deeper assessment,
Creative
and creative.
Okay, super. Another question that relates to the student experience is kind of how many hours typically would they be expected to be on campus, or kind of class contact time, if you like?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, we try and you know, we're cognizant that, you know, a lot of our students have part-time work, and you know, I think that's important that they continue to do that, particularly given the sort of world that we live in at the moment, the financial challenges that we face. So you tend to have 14 hours a week on average contact time. That's a mixture of lecture, workshop, seminar on campus, and then that then allows you to pursue other things outside of the curriculum, but also to embrace university life. You know, get involved with the societies, the clubs. You know, use that time to do some self-study, because that might be 14 hours contact time, but each week you are expected to read as well, independently of that, and prepare for the next week. So we've got incredible facilities here at the university, here in the business school. Our library is well kitted out. So phenomenal. You know, you do find a lot of students, you can walk around and see a lot of students who have done their lectures for the week and seminars, but they're in preparing for next week, using the amazing facilities, working collaboratively with their peers as well, because we encourage a lot of that sort of work within all of our courses, peer-to-peer learning and working collaboratively, because that's a skill that you need in business, isn't it? You've got to work as part of a team. So the facilities here actually allow our students to do that in a really seamless
and
way.
Socialise as well, because that's an important part of the university experience as well, isn't it?
Of course it is. Yeah, you develop socially at university, and you make friends from across the globe and for life. You know, and as a business school that celebrates a rich, cultural, diverse student body, it's a brilliant opportunity to foster new relationships, as you say, that are lifelong. I've certainly made lifelong friends from university, and it's an amazing thing. You've got me thinking, actually, going back, how amazing it was coming to university. I'm just going right back to 1996. Better stop there.
And you talked about understanding that some of our students work part-time, but as a university, we employ a lot of students as well, and also within the business school. Absolutely,
we certainly do. So certainly from my portfolio in the school, I like to be able to nurture talent. So we have a marketing intern role that's been around for about 3.5 years now, and we always recruit one of our own students to it and develop them in that role. We are building our bank of student ambassadors and digital ambassadors to help us create content for our social platforms and for our wider market and assets. And I think it's really important that we are a big part of shaping the next generation of marketers in that particular example. And yeah, where we can, we give opportunities to our own students.
Super. Why, thank you so much, Noel. Thank you so much for your time and your incredible answers. I'm sure it's been really, really useful for a lot of prospective students that are thinking about going on to university.
Well, thank you very much, Femi, for your time today and for having me. Thank you.
You're welcome. If you'd like to find out more about any of our courses at Teesside University International Business School, please feel free to come along to our open day.